So hi, my name's Joe Brewer, and I'm a change strategist. What I want to talk with you about today is what I think of as a very big problem or a significant challenge that we have to address. And that challenge is, how do we know who to trust? And how can we be sure that expert information is actually reliable? In today's world where we have a number of people that, for ideological reasons, are actively fighting against scientific expertise. And we have a world where some scientists are a bit arrogant and opposed to considering the views or the expertise of different kinds of people, such as spiritual leaders or political leaders. And of course, we have this public relations nightmare of companies that are set up specifically to actively confuse people about the science. It's a huge, huge challenge for us because the big, complex problems in the world can only be solved if we have reliable, legitimate information. So the book that I want to review that explores this topic in a very unique way is this one, Are We All Scientific Experts Now? By Hilary Collins. Well, first of all, Hilary Collins. He is a social theorist, so he's one of the founders of the field of sociology of science. So a few decades ago, earlier in his career, he spent a lot of time criticizing science, taking it down from its pedestal of being special in the world of knowledge, and showing that science is a human endeavor filled with all of the folly and fallibility, the frailty of the human condition. And then what happened was, based on his work and the work of other sociologists studying the scientific method, we came to a place where people in the humanities were criticizing science so much that they had all but destroyed any of its uniqueness. And so people would just say, well, if you have an opinion about science, doesn't matter if you've studied in a field of research for 20 years, it's merely your opinion, and it's no different from my opinion based on reading a 200-word paragraph on a blog post that made me upset. So now your expertise is totally illegitimate, and I don't really care about it. We're in a place where that level of extreme relativism is way too commonplace. So what Hilary Collins did, coming back after all of those decades of work and looking at the practices of science and the kinds of knowledge that people develop in science, came back and wrote this short, see it's very small, it's a short, easy to read book. It's actually very accessible to the layperson. And what he does is he tries to make the case that maybe he went too far, and that the other social theorists criticizing science have also gone way too far, and that science is actually special and important in a couple of very specific ways that only people studying the sociology of science understand. So he answers his own question, no, we are decidedly not all scientific experts now, but the only way for us to know who the experts are and what the important kinds of expertise may be is to systematically go through and answer the question, what are the different kinds of expertise? And so sure, there are types of knowledge or technical expertise. If I get a PhD in high energy particle physics, I'm going to understand quantum mechanics, I'm going to understand things about chemistry, about certain instrumentation that I use. But there's another kind of expertise in addition to this that he makes the case for being extremely important. And that is the expertise in social knowledge of the people involved and the reputations of those people. So if I am a climate scientist and I'm engaged in research with 100 other climate scientists, I know which of those scientists are good-hearted, well-meaning, hard-working, honest people. I know which ones are kind of the crackpots that you don't really trust, that no one really pays attention to because all of us climate scientists know that their work is on the margins. So there's this kind of social knowledge in context for people who are actively involved in a community. It turns out that that kind of knowledge is one of the most important kinds of knowledge for determining whether scientific expertise is valid or not. So if you're questioning the health outcomes of a particular study, as a layperson, you don't know if the researchers involved are credible or not because you're not part of the community of practice in that particular field of science. But the people who are in that field of science have that social expertise, and so they can discern who's trustworthy and who isn't. Turns out this is true for all of us in every domain of practice, but it's something that we really need to appreciate in the world of technical knowledge because that is where the social layer of contextual knowledge becomes so important. So if you want to better understand how to see the different kinds of expertise, make sense of which scientists are valid and whether what they're saying is legitimate or not, pick up a copy of this book and then explore how it applies to all forms of authoritative knowledge, expertise, and legitimate knowledge. And then you will be better armed to go out into the world and discern who you can trust, what information you can trust, and then act accordingly. So there you go. Hilary Collins, Are We All Scientific Experts Now? Go grab your copy.